Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. Boy, if you want to talk about somebody who is creating the adventure of a lifetime, I've got a real treat for everybody today because I've got a wonderful gal that I've known now for several years. We first met when I was doing my independence report, which we're bringing back, by the way. But we met and we did a podcast, and she is an extraordinary human being. And she's done so many great things for so many people. She's experienced life in ways that a lot of people don't get a chance to, or they don't recognize the experiences that they're having, and they keep moving. And what she has done is gone from moving from one thing to another thing to another thing, and she continues to evolve. She's got a brand new video book out that we're going to talk about. Her name is Michele Blood. And Michele, I want to thank you. And by the way, I know that that is your real name because your dad actually was Irish, I do believe.
Yeah, it's originally an Irish name. That's right. Yeah, some people say, was that because you were a rock and roll singer? And I'm like, no. In actual fact, the record label at one stage changed my name to McCarthy because they thought its blood sounded too punk.
Well, and you know, it's interesting because in our time together that we've spent, you were a rock singer in, had a band in Australia, and you were driving all over the place, doing gigs and talking to people. And then one day you had a near fatal traffic accident that ended you up in the hospital, which began the transition that you have continued to live with and to move forward to this day. And so I want to begin the interview by asking you, you're lying in a hospital room in a bed, and they're not sure if you're going to be able to recover from the seriousness of the accident that you were in, but you started doing affirmations. I want to know, where did that come from?
It came from Napoleon Hill, Kevin. And anyway, by the way, Kevin, it's just so great to see your new show and everything that you're doing, because you are one of the, top 3 people in the world. My favorite, I don't care who else is watching, you are my favorite radio interviewer. I love your voice. I love your soul. I love your heart. And anyone who's watching this, you're very blessed to even be in his presence, because he's just a beautiful human being. Getting back to the affirmations, Napoleon Hill.
You're too kind.
Wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, of course. And so people were bringing in books. I couldn't read any books because I couldn't sit up or hold anything. And I'm in traction on a still. They didn't even have a mattress for me. And so when they put on this particular audio program by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, I wasn't interested in millionaire males in America. And hey, they got rich. I couldn't care less. But there's only just one chapter where he's talking about how auto-suggestion affirmations worked for his son. His baby boy was born completely deaf, and he would go into his infant son's room every night and say, this is in the 1920s, I think, and say, you can hear perfectly, just all these beautiful, beautiful things that he would affirm to his little son who couldn't hear. And by the time the little boy was 3, he had 30% of his hearing and went on to become a really great man and led the hearing aid industry into the 20th century at the time. And anyway, it's just that got to me. I just knew that everything that I had created in my life, I had willed into, if I wanted a drummer that was in another band, even if the other band was more successful at the time, I'd get that drummer. I just was so determined and very, very disciplined. And I was the lead singer of the band and also songwriter and manager of the band. And it was just incredible how strong-willed, when I think about it now, at such a young age, so disciplined. So I realized that is true. You could affirm something and have it like make a decision that that's going to happen, and it will happen. So he said, you've got to say the auto-suggestion, the affirmation, as if it's already happened. You have it now. And so I thought, okay, I am healed, because I wasn't. Good, on point. I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend. None of those things were true, because I didn't feel anything except physical agony. And, when the doctors are coming in and saying, the next operation, one of them was like 17 and a half hours long. I know, applaud those doctors, amazing doctors in Sydney. But you have to go beyond if you really want to go beyond what the doctors say can be done, you have to affirm it. And every time I said, I am healed, I know I am, I love myself, I am my friend, the doubting mind, which they've proven now scientifically, the doubting mind would spit out that thought. Neuroscientists just a few months ago, this is funny, Kevin, they said, we have discovered consciousness is real. You can't see it. You can't see it. But believe us, we have proven that it's real. Consciousness, that's all there is consciousness. And what you think about, you create. Thank you. Buddha said that a few years ago, I think, neuroscientist.
A few years before I was born, which is a long time ago, by the way.
Well, about the same time I was born, I guess.
Yes, and so your belief in yourself and in the work that you were doing with the affirmations led you to a complete healing of your body, and so that you were able to go back to doing what you were doing. But you didn't find that to be attractive enough for you. You wanted to do something more, because you now had an understanding that we are all trying to gather. A lot of us are going, why am I here? What am I here to do? How can I live my life to the best that it can be and take care of my friends and family and everything? And so you wanted to progress farther and not go back to where you were. Or did you go back to where you were, and then other experiences just kind of piled up on you?
Yeah, I didn't make any decisions to do anything. All I knew was the affirmation in the hospital wasn't working, because my doubting mind kept saying, no, that's not the truth. So when people, when these people say you've got to believe it for it to go into the treasury of your subconscious mind, you have to feel it. How can you feel it if you're in physical agony, emotional agony? Say people don't have the money and they're looking around at the circumstances, and the circumstances are telling them what you're affirming is not true. So as a singer, songwriter, I just decided to sing it. I got a little blank tape recorder, and if anyone doesn't know what that is, you can Google it. And I started singing, I am healed, I know I am. I love myself, I am my friend. And I sang it over and over and over again. And it went, I found out later how it works. The lyrics, the affirmation goes into the left brain. The melody, even when you don't have music yet with it, the melody is going into the right brain. So it goes straight into the subconscious mind. You don't have to believe it. You don't even have to sing it. You just have to listen. And that's why affirmations with music, that's how I created them. And I didn't intend ever for them to go to the public. No. That would be very uncool, because they're just little affirmation songs. They're not like the songs I was recording with my band in a 48-track studio, full-on production. Yep. And so John Beatty and myself, the bass player of my band, we went into the studio, and we went just to a little 8-track studio and recorded tons of songs that we were writing, affirmation songs, just for us and for the band to listen to, because I knew that they worked. But what happened was, the media found out about my healing and the affirmation songs. And because the media started interviewing me about it, and the doctors were saying it's miraculous, her healing. And so then promoters were coming and saying, we'd like you. The very first promoters coming to me said, we've got this great tour. You're not going to believe who we want you to sing with. We want you to sing on stage in between Dr. 𝗙𝗢𝗥𝗡, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Stuart Wilde, Louise Hay. And I'm like, who are they? I had no idea. Like, why would I want to do that? But when they offered me like $5,000 each gig, I was like, that's more money than I would see in a year, because all the money that we made in the band went to the agents, the record label, the, you know, for the road crew, for the equipment. So we lived on pittance, because in Australia, for you to actually make money as a rock and roll band or a singer, you have to make it overseas, and we hadn't yet. So anyway, so by the time I ended up touring with all these people, and Deepak Chopra was raving, and Bob Proctor, when I worked with him, he just said, look, I want you to work with me all over the world. I've never seen the audience so pumped up. You've got them all up on stage singing and affirming. And he said, that's what we've been teaching for years. He said, I can't believe nobody's done affirmations with music before. So that's how that started.
Well, you know, do you believe, and I know that it's true in your case, and I believe it to be true for all of us, and that is that when you begin to go down the road of really developing who you really are, that great things just kind of fall into place and just kind of happen for you, because you were of a mind that you wanted to have more, and you wanted to have an impact, and you didn't really know before the promoters came to you. You really didn't know how that was going to look, but that was, I think, deeply ingrained in your soul of who you wanted to be. Do you agree with that?
50-50.
Okay, give me the 50 that you don't agree with.
Well, the 50 is I never had any intention of doing anything except becoming a really well-known singer all over the world and have my band have #1 hits. So I didn't give up my band at that stage. When Bob Proctor offered to take me all over the world, it took me a few months to make that decision. And then when I started gigging again with my band, and we did a new music video and everything, I realized, wow, because I've been doing the affirmation music, my oscillation, my vibration was at a faster frequency, which is true. And when your oscillation is at a faster frequency, then you open up. Then your soul, sort of your diamond, becomes cleaner. You can see a bigger picture. You've destroyed the box. You're no longer in any box. And so you've destroyed any sort of idea, because all I was doing what other bands did. And just, you just do. You get the record label, you know, all the stuff that you've got to do, especially in Australia. You had to be already very well known before you even had a record label even look at you back then. So all the things we had to do to become popular. One stage we worked for 7 years nonstop touring. And so I realized it wasn't fulfilling me, making me as happy. And I loved those events that I'd done. Is a whole, I'm not singing to thousands of drunken Australians.
And there is nobody that can do drunk like a good Australian.
Oh, that's right. That's for sure. Oh, God. Anyway, and so I love these events because it's people that were wanting to improve their lives. And I'm listening to these different, authors and speakers, and that's also waking me up to the different possibilities, because I'd never been in that world, Kevin. So it was sort of like it just slowly dawned on me. I do want to tour with Bob Proctor around the world. I do want to make people happy in a different way, still singing, but he had me speaking as well because he thought the story was so fascinating. And that's when it slowly turned to, then he brought me to Kuala Lumpur to the World Trade Center, and we did just the two of us, a huge event there. And that was it for me. And I ended up living in Kuala Lumpur for years. And, I gave my band 6 months notice. I finished a tour with them. because otherwise the wives in the band would have killed me.
They needed to eat.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's when it was 100%. This is my new life. And so that was like, I always think of that as like, you know, there's different quarters. There's 4 quarters in your life. And being a singer since at the age of 5 on TV, that was my first quarter. The second quarter was this quarter that I'm talking about, where I'm touring with lots of different speakers and then doing my own events and, you know, so many different countries and loving that. So that was the second quarter.
And now you're in the second and a half quarter.
I'm in the 4th quarter.
No. You're
oh, yeah, I am. And yeah, I'm in the 4th quarter now. I went through a 3rd quarter. And because I was looking for enlightenment, because as I was doing all these positive things and all these great things were happening for me and money and all that sort of stuff, I was finding myself going more and more inward and feeling this, like I used to feel like it was heart glow, like my heart was out here. And I knew that I was a little bit soul sick and I wanted to find out what this heart glow was. And Bob Proctor said, you're looking for enlightenment. You're looking for an enlightened teacher to teach you to know what God is within you. And he said, I had one for 3 years before he left the body. And so I went on a quest then, in between doing all these gigs, to find an enlightened teacher. And it took me 14 years in 26 countries. And by the time I got to America, I found one in America, an American lady, 10 years younger than me. I couldn't believe it, you know, because I was going to all these Zen masters and different people, and I couldn't tell if they were enlightened or not. I didn't really know what that was. But the minute I saw this young woman, I knew it. I saw her hands like gold light coming out of them, and tears were stinging my eyes. And I'm looking around the room. There's only about 60 people at this little public event in Balboa Park in San Diego. And I'm like, her name's Kundalini. And I'm like, why can't they see what I'm seeing? They're just sitting there like, oh, yeah, it's interesting. And then I went off the grid. She decided she would teach me. And I went off the grid. I went off Facebook. I went off everything, stopped doing big events and all the things that I was doing, and studied with her for over 12 years. And until, you know, eventually I became awakened, which I was never expecting to become, but I knew she knew God. I knew she was enlightened, and I could feel this light coming through me and this love for the divine through her. And it was just, you know, just incredible to me that I'm still to this day, just, you know, that was that quarter. And so that's why I'm saying that was the quarter where I went off the grid, literally, and just studied and traveled all over the world with her and different students. And then now I'm doing the same thing. Now I'm teaching. This is my 4th quarter, and I'm loving it because there's nothing like creating. And I've never been so creative in my life, and meeting all these wonderful people like you. It's just, you know, you just continuously fascinated. It doesn't amaze me anymore, the miracles that I see every day, but it fascinates me because it's infinite. You can never know everything because it's infinite. And it's like scientists working out something. They're never, ever going to know it all because it's infinite and it's miraculous. And for a girl who left home at 15 and school at 15, because of reasons I won't go into, I then getting in, you know, all the things that I did and how hard I had to work just to put a roof over my head and to go through what I went through. And if I can go through that, anybody can, but you do not have to do it the way I did it. You don't have to go completely off the grid. You don't have to lose your family, or, you know, it's not cultish at all. You can still live a very normal life, but be on a path. And the worst case scenario, Kevin, if you do get into practicing meditation and learning about mysticism, the worst case scenario is you'll have more money, you'll be more successful, you won't be living in fear all the time, and you'll be happier, healthier, and more of a light to other people, because it's not about you anymore. It's about what you can do to make other people happy and for them not to suffer. So the journey, I'm still on this journey, and this particular quarter will go through to whenever I leave this particular shell, Michele.
Oh, you got a long time left while you're here, because you've got so much more to do. We need to take a quick break, and when we come back, Michele, I want to talk about, I firmly believe that the contract that you signed before you even came here was to do what you're doing now, and that everything that you've done in your life, including, sadly, the traffic accident, was designed to take you so that you could become the teacher that you are today. And because you're making a difference to humanity. And that was one of your stated missions, I believe, before you even got here, that's how you wanted to take your life and how you wanted to use this body and your gifts and your voice and to do what you're doing. So when we come back, I'm going to ask you, is that true? We'll be right back.
You're listening to Positive Talk Radio. We're going to take a short break to tell you audio and music creators about our commercial affiliate, LyricVids, specializing in creating amazing and engaging lyric videos. Are you looking to promote your videos in the most engaging way, but you don't have an animator and an editor? Whether you're an artist, musician, or business with a message to share, our lyric videos are designed to hook viewers and amplify your reach. Go to positivetalkradio.net/lyricvids. That's positivetalkradio.net/LYRICVIDS now to get started. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. We hope you enjoyed learning about our affiliate LyricVids, who specialize in creating captivating animated lyric videos. Now let's get back to the show.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. And I got to tell you, I love playing that song because the guests have never heard that before, and they're like, what in the hell is he doing? And so I get around to it eventually. But Michele Blood is with us. Go to micheleblood.com, and she's got an amazing array of free things that she offers you, courses that you can take. She is really, her whole life is designed to help other people find enlightenment, find a better way for you to live so that you can live your best life. I believe that was your destiny before you even got here. Do I need medication?
You are 100% correct, because the thing is, after you're awakened, you remember your past lives. And I was a teacher and I was enlightened in a few past lives. So what, my teacher calls it a bodhisattva. Once you're there, you make a decision to either go back to the eternal light and become one with that ocean of eternity, or you make a decision to be reborn and teach again and bring people to enlightenment again. And it's a tricky thing to do, though, because what happens is you do take all your gifts that you've learned from past lives. You absolutely do. That's why Mozart could play like he did at 3.
Yeah.
Because he had those gifts from past lives and was born with this download of, who he was before. And so that's what happened to me. And it's tricky, though, because it takes a long time to remember. And your soul does put you in certain situations for you to become strong and resilient enough to be able to be disciplined enough to be able to go through that Stargate again. And because I work out 2 to 2.5 hours every day, because my body has to be strong so that I can handle having all these students and transmitting light and doing what I do and stay healthy and strong. Because it's not easy being an enlightened teacher, but you love it and it's worth it. And but yes, I definitely did. But then you forget. It's like, uh-oh, I forgot again. Why am I here? What was it?
but the cool thing is that the universe, in my humble opinion, the universe and your guides and your angels and stuff, when they line up with you, when you say yes, I want to find out why I'm really here, and I want help from my guides, from my soul, from everything, to become who I was destined to be. That wonderful things happen most of the time. Sometimes you have a bad country music song experience along the way, but most of the time you have a really good experience of life, and then you're able to take it to another level that you might not remembered, but you're capable of doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, everything is possible. And even with country and Western music, if you play it backwards, you get truck back, you get dog back.
That's true. That's way true. And and
No, there's a lot of country and Western music I love. So country and Western fans don't, you know.
no, but and the way that I view it is, a bad country music song is kind of like, my dad died, my dog
Yeah.
died, I lost my wife, my house was foreclosed on, and all those things that are just natural things that happen in life, but we can all learn from them so that we can move forward with the experiences that we have.
Yeah, because I mean, to me, everybody's purpose is enlightenment. There are so many souls out there wanting to be born on this particular earth plane, and there are so many different dimensions and planes of existence that I've literally seen and been to in this lifetime. And it is extraordinary how uninvolved the world still is. There are people that are just, they're still fighting wars. We still need police to tell us not to drive drunk. I mean, it's unevolved. And the thing is, people think, oh, once they're on this path, they're on your show, they're watching it, they're interested, they found that they want to find their purpose in life, and they think that the world has become evolved because they've become evolved. But it's just that there are 8 billion people on the planet now. So there's 8 billion, if you want to look at it, different world planes. It's like the Buddha said, we are what we think. Everything we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make our world. So each person has their own little composition of what their world is. They might be in a box, they might be here, they might be there, and whatever they believe, they think that that's gospel, you know. And it's there's too many people that are sheep. They're, you know, they'll just follow along. And that's what we do. Like even me with the rock band, I followed along a pattern of how it's done. And there's a million different things that you could do to, you know, get out of that box, which is what I did once. Do you want to hear a funny story?
Please.
Okay. I heard that Men at Work could not get a record label in Australia.
That's a rock band out of Australia, by the way, for those of you that are.
Who can it be now? Anyway. And yeah, I know those guys. They're great. Anyway, Colin, hey, I love him. So he's actually originally Scottish, but that's another story. But so what they did is they brought a camel in Melbourne. They brought a camel to, I don't remember which record label it was. They brought a camel in. The camel started shitting. and they said, we will not take this camel out of this office until we get to hear, the A&R people get to hear our demo. And that's how they got their record label. So I went to Time Warner, and because they're a big record label, and yep. I said, I've got, you know, I've got a singing telegram is coming for so and so. I can't remember the name of the man. And they said, oh, what's it for? Is it? I don't think it's his birthday. Oh no, it's a surprise from some people. And they went, oh, how awesome! So I could tap dance. So I came in with all this big orange wig and balloons and a cake and a ghetto blaster, and tapped my way in and put on my demo. And that's how I got my record label for my band.
Sometimes you have to be just really, really creative.
Yeah, and you do.
You know, you were talking about and one of the things that we're doing, what I'm doing now, is I'm also doing some films and some shorts and stuff. One of the ones that I recently put together is called it's called the overview effect. Are you familiar with that concept?
No.
Let me explain it to you real quick then, because sometimes, because you're right. as we look at our globe, we look at the division and the fear and the borders and all the things that there are different people and differences among us, and we have trouble getting through that and understand that we're really all one, and that we all need to respect each other and care for each other, regardless of what we look like, who we love, or any of those things. There are people that have gone into space, and that's how they found their own version of enlightenment, because they turned around and they looked at this little blue ball that was hanging there in space and going in looking at the universe and all of its splendor and going, you know, we really are just a small little place that we all need to care for each other and to be really kind to one another. And because there are no borders, they couldn't see any borders, they couldn't see any divisions or stuff. And that was a lot of those guys, they called it the overview effect, because they then had a spiritual awakening of sorts. When we come back, I want to talk about your spiritual awakening and what it was like for you in your experience, because there are people that are literally hoping upon hope that they can have that experience too. I know where you can find that, and her name is Michele Blood, and if you go to micheleblood.com, but we need to take a quick, just a minute and 10 seconds. That's all it is. So we'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk. You know, I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. I have tried to do a good Australian accent. I can't get that done. But in any event, we're talking with Michele Blood, and she is a teacher. She's an enlightened one. She is a great singer. She does affirmation songs. She's got, if you go to micheleblood.com, there's so much there that you may never leave, quite frankly, because she does so much. And I would love for you to tell us a little bit. But first, Joe says he loves that sound. I'm not exactly sure what sound he's referring to, but I'm glad he loves it. And but you became enlightened. Tell us that story.
Well, as I said before, I went off the grid, and it's only because of Kundalini, this beautiful enlightened teacher. Because what happens is, if you want to use this metaphor, we have this diamond, our higher self, and it is clogged with all the distractions, emotions, hurts, different things that we've had in our life. And people wonder why they keep repeating the same old mistakes. You know, this different job, but same situation. They don't like the people they work with, they don't like their bosses. They move, same thing happens, because they're repeating the same old mistakes, because their diamond is coated. So they can't feel their God self. Their intuition isn't clear. So they don't know what to do. They don't know how to change it. Sometimes you call it the universe, call it eternity, call it your higher self, will just, you know, give you a car accident or something to snap out of it, like Cher says in Moonstruck, snap out of it.
I remember that. That's great.
And so what happens is we do everything that we can to, without consciously realizing it to have a better life. All of a sudden we might see just a poster that says you can do it, and something about that poster, I can do it. You know, it just, sometimes it's just a little message that brings you to another oscillation that polishes your diamond just a little bit more. But doing it just on your own is very, very challenging. So with an enlightened teacher, because they are a conduit of the eternal light, of the things that neuroscientists are finding out now, and that, you know, different, just amazing things. There is no, black holes are different. We're just a hologram. They're proving that we're just energy, that it's just all consciousness. And so as we're starting to wake up a little bit more, we wake up, that's because the diamond gets a little bit more polished. Every time you make a decision to do something and you actually do it, your diamond gets a little more polished. Every time we do something to assist someone else and relieve their suffering, your diamond becomes a little more polished. That's the way it works. Whenever you stop being selfish and think of others, what can I do today to bring food to somebody, or, you know, tithe to, I love the Salvation Army personally, you know, tithe, or what can I do to improve my mind? How can I be more positive? How can I be nicer to my neighbors and friends? Whenever you're in that vibration and you actually do it, when you say you're going to do something and you actually do it, you become more resilient. You become stronger. Your diamond becomes clearer and clearer. But with an enlightened teacher, because they've got this, they're just a conduit. It's like, you know, no, it's on all the time. And so when an enlightened teacher puts attention on you and puts a prayer of intention for you at the same time, using the power of their thought, of their intention, prayer, if you will, Kevin, when they're doing that and putting that light on you, that burns away all the crapola. Very mystical terminology here, but I am Australian, mate, so, you know.
Indeed, indeed.
It starts polishing the diamond. So every time that you do something, and then if you want to go deeper and you actually begin to practice meditation with a teacher that can transmit light, they can have you being meditated, because to meditate is just to release thought. But because I had what they call, as Buddhists, a bhakti, I'm a lover of the light, a lover of God, a lover of whatever you choose to call God. And I just had this heart glow. And so it was easy for me to want to meditate, even though it was very, very challenging to release thought. But I could feel when she was meditating for her students, even when I wasn't in her presence, I could feel it. And so I decided to dedicate myself to finding God within me, having no intention of thinking I would actually become fully awakened. That wasn't even in my trajectory. I couldn't even fathom that. But to know who I am and what am I supposed to do next? I've been an entertainer. I've done all that stuff. There must be something more that I can do to be better in the world, to assist other people. I don't want to just be around these, you know, they're selling thousands of dollars for people to come to a seminar. Why can't they just come for free, or $10 or something? I would think to myself, it's like it's this big business, like rock and roll, this big business all the time. What can we do that people don't have to suffer or pay out a lot of money? I mean, I've seen people mortgage their houses and sell their cars to go to some of these events with some of these best-selling authors. And I just don't think that's right. You know, at the time, I just didn't think that was right. So I went in a different, you know, more of a, definitely more 100% spiritual. And so eventually I started having these deep experiences where I would have this flash of light. And I didn't know at the time that that's the beginning of the Stargate. We actually go through the tunnel that people go through when they leave the body, when you're going into enlightenment. So I didn't know what that flash of light was, and she never explained it to us. And we didn't really have that much of an opportunity to ask a lot of questions. So I started Googling, because I was like, what is that? And what I found out was, just through my own self, I couldn't find it on Google anywhere, that my thought had completely stopped, because I'd been meditating for so many hours and doing every type of meditation technique I could think of, or that she taught me, anything to stop thought. Use my mandala beads, affirmations, just gazing. And eventually what happened was, it was absolutely incredible. One meditation, this huge buzzing through my head, unbelievable, like no human sound I'd ever heard in my life. And I was traveling zoom, faster than the speed of light for sure through this Stargate, sort of similar to the TV show, but straight ahead, not going around like a wormhole. Straight ahead. It was incredible, just whoosh. And then I ended up being just in I don't know, another dimension, but it sort of looked like space. And I could see 360 degrees around me. And as soon as I was aware, as soon as that thought came in, my God, I can see all around. I went zoom, straight back into my body, because the thought took me out of that place. So as the months progressed, I went through that Stargate into different dimensions. I mean, talk about traveling into space, beyond space and time, and meeting incredibly, call them angels, call them what you want to, giving me advice on what to do, until eventually one day everything just turned to white. Everything exploded in my head. And that was when my crown chakra obviously had, opened. And so it was like, because people have Kundalini rushes, and they might even go through a couple of Stargates, but you have to have all the chakras, and your crown chakra has to be like, and then that's it. You're done. You're cooked. And
got it.
And it's incredible. Your body's shaking. It's some of my students, few of them, what they're going through as well, having those experiences. And it's because the cells of your body become cells of light, and your consciousness can travel anywhere. And it's like Paramahansa Yogananda, the author of Autobiography of a Yogi. When I first read that, and he said, I don't know why they're wanting to look at putting, huge amounts of money into space travel when you can just do it through enlightenment. And I was like, I wonder what he means by that.
It sure would be cheaper.
So, it's infinite. We are all definitely one beautiful golden tapestry. My enlightenment is your enlightenment, Kevin. And when this happens, you can see people without judgment. There's no longer that horrible human bitchiness. There's no complaining. You love, but you can also see, you're very, very strong. You can see if something is dangerous or someone is coming from a place without judging. You're just bearing witness. It doesn't mean that horrible things don't still happen in the world, but you're not reactionary to them anymore. It's more of just a seeing, a witnessing, rather than judging. And so I can see if someone's cranky and yelling at someone, I can see whether they're really coming from a bad place or they're just in a bad place in their mind, but their heart is still really good. And the very, very first time I met you, Kevin, all the lights came on, and I was like, I will do anything for this man. He is an angel. He is an angel. And there are angels on this earth, and you guys don't even realize that you are, but you are. And that's why you have this purpose of bringing these messages and this light to the world, because you have a gift of this beautiful personality and this beautiful heart and a gorgeous speaking voice and a laugh that would make even Tinkerbell disappear.
Oh, Michele, you are so wonderful. We need to take our last break, but when we come back, I want to talk about the first time I met you. And we had a session, and this goes back when I was doing my independence report several years, probably almost 4 years. And you said some things to me at that moment that meant a lot to me, and a lot of it has remarkably come true. And I want to talk about that a little bit. And how the heck did you know? And you're listening to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Michele Blood is with us. Go to micheleblood.com, and I'm telling you, we're going to talk about this as well. we're going to go through some of the things that she's got that she is giving you for free on her website, just so that you can begin your own journey to determine where you want to be and how you want to be, what you want to be, and all that stuff. And so we'll be right back. 30 seconds, I promise.
They have your eyes. They have your ears. They have your smile. Now all they need is a little more of your time. Make a difference in your child's life, because anyone can be a father. It takes time to be a dad.
You see, that wasn't very long at all. That was just like a 30-second thing or so. And Michele Blood is with us, and I gotta tell you, because we had a great time the first time we met, and you said some things that have turned out to be true, and one of which was just trust, and that you are part of the light, and that things are going to be good for you because you're pure in. At least I like to think that I'm pure in heart, that I want to make everybody happier and be kind and take care of folks. But what did you see when we first met, I guess?
Well, I saw this talent. I mean, I've been interviewed thousands of times during my lifetime, this lifetime, in so many different countries and different places. And I've had to deal with a lot of different interviewers that would be sometimes quite rude.
Really?
Yeah. Well, particularly in rock and roll days, you have to put up with a lot as a female singer. Anyway, so I just saw an angel. I knew you. I know I'd known you before, and I could see that what you're meant to do, I could just see it laid out, was to be a big voice in the world to bring about positivity. And because you have this platform and this talent, this innate heart as well, this beautiful heart you were telling me about bus driving, and the more I spoke to you, the more I could see that you're here to be very successful for the world, not just on radio, but in all different types of media. And there's more to come as well for you, for sure. And for you also to more to come in other ways, I won't say on air, but for you, because you deserve to have more.
Does that mean I'm going to get a dog? I really want a dog.
I thought you were talking with an Irish accent earlier.
I was.
What's going on now?
Well, you know what was funny? I was thinking yesterday I was gonna say, she's a wonderful soul. She had a traffic accident. She had this wonderful New Jersey accent, and then she woke up one day in the hospital, and suddenly she was Australian. And I was going to make a joke out of that, but you have a better New Jersey accent than I do. So,
what are you talking about? What was it? What are you talking about, Kev? You gonna do lunch or what?
That's it. That's the one. And I tell you, Michele is such a wonderful soul. She takes her time every week and has a meeting on Sundays, which we can talk about, and that everybody's free to attend. There are people. I'm a little delinquent, unfortunately, and I'm not there as often as I should be. But when I'm there, I get a really it's a wonderful experience for me. But you've got some of the same people that have been coming to this for years, 9, 10, 15 years, and there are more people coming to it all the time, because they can tell how genuine you are and how you want to help people live their best life.
Yeah, I think it's just because their lives become better.
they get that part. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as that. It's the experience of it, and a lot of times they don't know why. that might have, you know, because I've got students that don't speak any English, but they still turn up every week because they feel that light. And I think Trevor helps them on YouTube get it subtitled somehow. But Trevor Rogers, amazing office manager assistant. He's worked with me for 19 years now. Love you, Trevor. Anyway, Johnny Tree, Holly, my team.
Can I just mention him for just a second? Because,
yeah, please.
Because you walked into a Blockbuster. Now, for those of you who don't know what a Blockbuster is, there used to be a store that used to sell the videotapes of movies before CDs even, and you would go and rent this tape, and then you would go watch the movie, and then you bring it back. And you walked into one 19 years ago, and this young man named Trevor was there. Tell us that story of how you guys hooked up.
Yeah, I was writing a book called How to Become Magnet to Hollywood Success with an agent in LA. He was about all the practical side of how to become successful in Hollywood. And my side was telling them about positive thinking and affirmations and visualization for them to be able, because I'd been in the entertainment industry for years, so I knew how to do that. Plus, I was interviewing huge stars, directors, actors, you know, all these amazing people that I managed to attract to interview with me.
Yeah.
And so I was about to do Dennis Weaver, and I wanted to watch a couple of his movies. And so I went into this Blockbuster and I spoke to Trevor and I said, I can't find anything by Dennis Weaver. He went to all the trouble to make sure that he could get it for me and order it in. And that was back in the days of VHSs, you know.
Yep.
And he was just wonderful. Another day I walked in, because every person I was about to interview, I had to watch their movies and, you know, so I'd know what to say to them. And there was a huge line this particular day, and he was so patient with everybody. And I had already written down a list of all the characteristics I wanted with someone who would work with me. I'd had all these different women. No offense to the women who worked for me. I say Trevor works with me. These people work for me. No offense to those, but they would come in and work with me, and they didn't really want to do the work. They just wanted to be able to do what I did, you know, and get on stage and start speaking or singing or whatever. Whereas I wrote down, I want somebody who, this person wants to do this as their career. They are loyal, loving, kind to people, intelligent, all of these different characteristics. And that is Trevor. And that was him. And then this particular day, seeing this, how he was just so calm with everybody, and everyone's getting annoyed, you know, waiting in line. And when I got to him, I made sure I was the last person in the store. And I said to him, you've got to come and work for me. Here's my websites. Check it out. See if you'd like to do it. And he got in contact with me straight away. And he said, save me. So, because I said to him, Blockbuster's going to go, I'm telling you, I can see it now. They won't be needed. Everything will be online. And he said, really? And I said, oh, yeah, for sure. I can see it. Anyway, so that's how it happened.
And he's been with you for, you know, I can always tell somebody who is not only a good employer, but a great person to be around when they have people that hang out with them. Like Holly has been with you for 9 years, and Trevor for 19 years, and Johnny
for 23 years.
And that is a grand indication of the type of human being that you are, that they recognize that and they value that and they want to stay with you. And that is an important aspect of humanity.
Well, they're just incredible people, and I love them. I love them. So, I mean, you know, they are just such a huge blessing in my life. I just love them. They're my family, you know, and I think it's like with a rock and roll band, they're your family. And I don't, you know, I didn't look at anything. I never look at anything except family. Even my students, it's all family. You all love each other. You all want each other to win. And I'll do whatever I can for anybody I love. I'll just There's nothing that I won't do for them. And I think people feel that. And yeah. And so, you know, whatever they need, I don't care what it is, I'll give it to them if I can. And I always make sure that I can.
Now, so, Michele, we're going to run out of time. But I want to make sure we've got about 5 minutes left, and I want to make sure that we talk about your website, which is micheleblood.com, and everything that people can go to that website and find, and how they can contact you so that they can work with you either personally or in a group setting or something like that. So you do enough of these. I'm just going to wind you up and let you go. So go.
Okay. If you go to micheleblood.com, oh no, it's not micheleblood.com. It's a different one. Okay. mydivinesuccess.com/positive talk. mydivinesuccess.com/positive talk. And what you'll get is we've got the world's first manifestation video book, and it covers everything that you would want to know about yourself, your purpose, manifestation, meditation, bringing in money, success. And it's my favorite chapter is, are you a mystic? So you can look within and find out if this path is for you. And also the Magic of Affirmation Power, one of my favorite books I've written. And also my favorite album, which the great and late Bob Proctor wrote a lot of the lyrics for the affirmations for this one, Songs for Success. You get all of that for free. Plus, if you want to become part of the mystical experience, it is where people can come on these Zooms from all over the world. You'll see a special link there where it's just $20 for them to be able to get that. Am I saying something incorrect? Oh, it is. Well, this is written down incorrectly. Sorry, Kevin. I was just told it's micheleblood.com, MICHELEBLOOD.com /positive talk /positive talk. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right, because I was looking at micheleblood.com and there it is right there. And so, but that's good. And thank you for that, for including positive talk in that. That is very, very nice of you.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know why this is written incorrectly, but that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Nothing is incorrect when you've got a beautiful team of people. Johnny just told me.
And they take, you know, the cool thing about, I've got a cool little team around me as well. And the nice thing is, and when you are a good person and you take care of them, amazingly enough, they want to take care of you as well.
Yep. That's the way it works.
And so be nice to each other and be kind to the people that work for you. And you know what? They may even be kind back. I know that might be a shock, but I bet you they are.
Absolutely. Kevin, as always, this has been a delight. And to all the people out there watching, just know that everything is possible for you. It doesn't matter where you are or what your present circumstances are. They can change to the positive. They really can. And you've taken the first step by being on this beautiful man's wonderful radio show. So God bless you all, and God bless you, Kevin. I love you.
You are nothing short of sensational, my dear, and I really love you and care for you and want the best for you, and more importantly, I want people to experience who you really are, because who you really are is unique and terrific, and your light work is something and that to behold. And so contact Michele Blood. Go to micheleblood.com, and trust me, you may never leave. And Michele, thank you so much for being here. Ask Johnny, how did we do?
How do we do, Johnny? Spectacular, he said.
Awesome. Thank you. If you wait right there, I'll be right back. Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. That's kevin@kmmedia.pro.
Before you go, please, if you want to receive some amazing high vibrational success meditation, tons and tons of free products, go to micheleblood.com/links.